In this video, we will see the key differences between abstract and conclusion of research paper or report. Many times, these two segments in research are confused or mixed. Specifically for new researchers, so what they do, they go for rephrasing or paraphrasing of abstract and conclusion. So whatever is written in abstract, that is rewritten in different way in conclusion. So rather than only paraphrasing or rather than only rewriting the content, we will see which are major segments in abstract and conclusion. Okay, so what we have to write and what not to write. So you can see key differences, major differences between abstract and conclusion. In abstract, we have to write a summary of the entire paper in past tense. So we write in this way. So in this particular paper or in this work, this technique is used with this particular result. Okay, includes background, methods, and key results without interpretation. That is a major part. Okay, in abstract, we do not specify any interpretation. We do not give any suggestion. We do not specify any limitation. We do not specify any research gap. Okay, if we are specifying the data, if we are mentioning the data or results in abstract, it should be only factually, only in factual terms. Factual terms means if we are working in machine learning or IoT, so we specify this much accuracy is achieved with this technique rather than detailed explanation. Okay, as far as conclusion is concerned, so you can see final reflection, work done, and interpretation. So whatever we have skipped in abstract, what we have skipped, what we have not specified, we have not specified any interpretation, we have not given any detailed interpretation. So that interpretation of outcome we have to specify in conclusion. For example, we have achieved 99% accuracy, so we specify its interpretation, why or using which technique this 99% accuracy is achieved, and what is its impact. Okay, what is the significance of that accuracy, what is the significance of reducing the error factor. Okay, in case of abstract, we do not specify any future work, that we mention in conclusion. Okay, so conclusion is more evaluative, more interpretive. So we have to interpret the results, we have to mention the significance. So there is a clear demarcation line between abstract and conclusion, between the content. So in abstract, we specify only summary without interpretation, we specify results without interpretation, no suggestions, no limitations. So now we will see some examples. For example, we are working in machine learning. Okay, so only selected part I have taken rather than a complete abstract of 250 words. So you can see in abstract related to machine learning. So it is mentioned that okay, machine learning techniques are used to improve spam email detection. What about the data set? How much data we have taken? Which techniques are used and what is the accuracy? So you can see that it is highlighted clearly. No interpretation, no detailed explanation, no detailed statistics. Only this technique is used, this is the background, and this is the outcome. Only that. Whatever findings we want to interpret, whatever findings we want to relate with the suggestions, these we will specify in conclusion. So in conclusion, we are specifying, you can see that what is importance of feature selection, what is importance of that particular method. Okay, so that importance we are not specifying in abstract. Okay, so abstract is very concise, very pinpoint. So in conclusion, we are giving future work also. In conclusion, we are specifying limitations, which we skip in abstract. Okay. Now, many times certain questions arise whether we can use data in conclusion or not. Okay. Definitely, we can use the data. We can use some statistics in conclusion, but only particular data we have to mention. For example, you have achieved 99.9% accuracy with some particular error factor, with some particular uh, other statistics. So no need to specify each and everything. Only selected part we have to give. So for example, in this way, so this particular topic related to e-learning and academic performance. What about the impact of e-learning on academic performance? This is the topic related to academics, related to academia. So it is only it is mentioned that with interactive video content and quizzes increase in 12%. Okay, how much accuracy or how much performance we have improved, rather than its detailed explanation, rather than its detailed interpretation. Okay, only pinpoint data and single line, or within same line we have to interpret it. In whatever line we have given the data, in same line we have to mention what is the significance. Okay, now one more example related to English literature. Okay, so for example, so you can see that in this example related to English literature, clearly mentioned, but this particular study is doing exploration of communal tension, pain of partition, and what about the outcome. Okay, so you can see that novel is a timeless warning against hatred or related points. In conclusion, so you can see we are giving the suggestions. Comparative studies can be done, but further work can be done. So in abstract, we are not specifying any further work. We are not specifying any suggestion. We are not giving any limitation. We are only specifying in abstract what is done in this paper, which things are explored in this paper. So you can see the study explores communal tension, moral ambiguity, and personal laws. Okay, no suggestion whether it is good or not. We are not specifying whether it is suitable or not, or whether it is ethical or unethical. We are not giving any interpretation. Those interpretation we will give in conclusion, whether these things are ethical, moral, or related points. Okay. In same way, e-learning. For example, one more abstract we are taking related to e-learning. Okay, so in this we are specifying what is the impact of e-learning platforms on student performance, on student engagement, and academic performance in higher education. Okay, so what about the sample size? So 200 undergraduate students sample size we have taken. Which type of data, which type of quizzes, which type of segments we are taking for consideration, and what about the findings? Clear cut. Okay, as far as conclusion is concerned, in this particular conclusion, so you can see that we are giving further studies, we are giving suggestions, we are giving some interpretations. So those interpretations which we are not giving in abstract, we have to specify in last segment, conclusion. So this one is the final segment, tips for writing abstract and conclusion. What we have to write and what not to write. In abstract, what was done and what was the results, what was done and found. Brief and factual, only factual. No interpretation, no suggestion, no explanation. In case of conclusion, we have to specify the results, we have to specify significance of the results. Okay, and no need to write limitations. So we have already addressed it. Future work we have to mention. Okay, only if it is adding the value. So we can add future work in conclusion only if it is desirable. Okay, not forcibly. Okay, many times scholars think that we have not written any future work. Okay, so it is not mandatory. We have to write future work only if it is adding value, only if it is relevant. Okay, only if it is significant, rather than writing anything in future work. Okay, and avoid repeating all statistics, avoid repeating stats or data. For example, some data we have mentioned in abstract, same data we are giving in conclusion, so this is not appropriate. Okay, so we should write conclusion and abstract with data in such a way that it should not be repeated. Okay, so these points we have to take care, we have to consider while preparing abstract and conclusion. Okay, thanks to all of you.